Me again, Chris. Trying to get used to this. I got a new stand for my camera, so I'm trying to give guys heads up on things that I've done in my life, and I've used YouTube again for a variety of reasons to help me out on things that I do, projects that I've got going, cars that I work on, all that kind of stuff. Also, I just wanted to give you a heads up on the real estate. Again, it's not for everybody. It's a good investment. Don't get me wrong, but it's not for everybody. For example, real quick, if you're not a handyman, right, you need to learn how to be one. Again, if you can do minor repairs around your house, then real estate possibly is for you. If you know how to investigate repairs and get good deals, right, maybe real estate is good for you because you're going to have to pay for these things, right? These things got to be paid for. If you do a lot on your own, then that's great. That's help you in the long run. But again, that turned something off in my ear here. But so those are the key elements of being in real estate. Again, there's the money, right? The money part. The money part is one of the most difficult parts. But again, you got to have a little kind of handyman incline. Know how to use a power saw. Know how to use tools. Know how to work on a car. Can change a spare. These little common things that are able to be done. Those are a great asset to when you start looking for real estate or trying to be in real estate, because without those key elements, you're gonna have to pay way too much because everything you're gonna do is gonna have to be paid for. Your repair of plumbing, electrical, nothing major, right? I'm not talking about replacing panels, replacing air conditioning units, putting on a roof. Those kind of things you want to pay for because those things are going to be very difficult for one person to handle. And again, you don't want to hurt yourself trying to do these things. And again, it's way too much work. But if you find a good contractor, he'll give you a good deal. You keep them, and hey, it works, man. That's what I do. I build up some contacts with my contractors. I got my roofers. I got my AC guys. Things like that can be done. The minor stuff, little fixing this, fixing that, cleaning this, cleaning that, getting things ready. Again, I've gotten older. I used to do a lot of it myself. Painting is getting to be, I'm impatient for painting. But these are key elements for real estate. That being said, going forward, if you got those, then it's a great starter, right? On the money side, you got to have cash, right? Okay, I understand there's quick fixes that you can get online and apply and listen to all these CDs, stories about real estate, right? How to flip this, flip that. Me, common sense, fellas, if or ladies and gentlemen, common sense. If you think it's too good to be true, and it sounds too good to be true, guess what? A $30 CD is not going to get you there, right? So you got to do your investigation, look at these YouTube videos, kind of figure out how people done it. Me, I've always kind of been into real estate. My dad had properties back when I was a kid, and they wasn't the best, but they were kind of in a rough area. I kind of know, right? I've been around it. I've been exposed to it, and I've always know a little bit about it, right? But in '08, I had 2 properties already acquired. That were paid for in full, and plus I had my home property. So in '08, when the market went kaput, right, the downturn, a light bulb raised in my head because what happened was I lost a lot of money in the market. $150,000 went down the drain like overnight, and I didn't have much at the time in '08. So that's what really got me to digging into real estate harder and deeper. And I got in it way too older, right? Time goes by. But thing about it is, that's what really got me in digging, right? And again, that fortunately in '08, what happened was the market went down, the real estate went down, opportunities were up, right? So again, those things what got me into real estate. Again, I was able to purchase a $40,000 house, right? Literally to just make them livable, right? That were ready to go, paint, little fixing here, fixing there. And again, that's what really got me going. In my math equation on how to get a property, right, and how to make money on a property, at $40,000, I was getting loans from my 401k. I was loaned against it, right? I was still working full time, and I was able to get some money. I was able to get a little money, up. And then the money that I did make from my rentals, I reinvested it, I saved it, and I got ready for my next one, and I bought 2 properties here and there, and I was able to get them because I was moving prop money from here to there, and as the money that I got, I was able to reinvest it back into real estate. You got to put your nose in the grinding wheel. You got to get after it. You got to eat beans and rice for a little while. Thing about it is, you have to get those elements because you got to have the capital. Capital is number one, and without capital, you can't get nothing, right? So that's what I got started in the game back in '08 really hard, right? I had a couple of properties. I acquired more properties. And as time went on, I was buying them left and right. As I could, I was putting down on them because there wasn't a big note, because you're talking $40,000, right? $40,000 ain't a lot of money. Nowadays you can go through it quick. But back then it was great in '08, right? It ain't been that long ago, but it is long ago. But the thing about it is, I was able to build my portfolio with a few properties there, and I was going, and as time went on, I would acquire another one. So that's how I got started, right? When the downfall opportunities were there. Well, I'm waiting on another downfall. Unfortunately, it's not yet. The market's gone crazy. This is 2022, guys, and it don't look like it's going to be another $40,000 house. The mathematical equation I would use back then, if I would buy 40, I would buy, instead of buying an 80, I buy 240, so I can make more revenue off of that, if that makes sense, right? Nowadays, it's a 1% rule. You need to get a 1% rule down where if I'm going to buy a house for $110,000, I need to be able to rent it for $1,100, right? If I'm going to buy a house for $80,000, preferably, it's going to need work most likely, I got to rent it for $800. Okay, so your return is a 1% rule. That's a rule of thumb that you always want to remember, and always keep that under your when you're doing your review, you're doing your investigation looking for properties. Again, you don't want to go buy a $300,000 house or $200,000 house, and all of a sudden you want to get into real estate, because you're not going to be able to rent that house for that 2% or 1% that needs to be for your return, right? Again, your return is not going to be as aggressive as it is if you're buying lower price properties and renting them a little more. So you got to remember that. Don't go out there and get yourself stuck in a high note, and then you got your personal mortgage, and next thing you know, something goes wrong, God forbid, and then your income stops coming, and then next thing you know, you're not able to keep going, because all of a sudden now you got letters in the mail that you owe everybody, right? God forbid something happens, right? But anyway, those are the key elements. Real quick, another thing again about the 1% rule. Learning to be a handyman. You got to learn how to be a handyman. You got to learn how to, the handyman part of it helps you point out if you're getting a deal or not, right? Again, not everybody's going to give you the greatest deal. If you go out and get the first person in a van that says plumbing and it's commercial, guess what? You're going to pay a lot of money for that person that van, because it costs a lot of money to run that van. Okay, and that individual in that van is going to get paid a big amount, and then the company's making a big amount. Those are the millionaires, right? You want to get another person that's able to maybe work part-time, maybe help you on the weekends. It's kind of a helper like that, that's got a trade, right? Electrical, plumbing, even painting. I'm impatient. I don't have that time anymore to sit there and roll that roller. So I hired these guys to do those kind of things. But little minor things, I go in and I fix them, I'm out, right? Again, water heaters, stuff like that is not that complicated. You just got to take your time, look it up how to do it. And if you know how to do it, hey, guess what? That's $1,000 in your pocket that you didn't have to spend. But you have to be very careful not to hurt yourself, and trying to lift it and all that kind of stuff. And with gas is very dangerous. You got to be very careful. So again, these kind of things, you want to do your investigation before you actually do it. Just like changing a flat tire on a car. If you got that, then you got a lot under your belt already. So I acquired 10 properties, all right, already in my portfolio, and all of them are paid for. And my home property is paid for. Everything that I got, it's paid for, right? That was my key element. That's the way I think. I want to pay for my property as soon as I can. That way I don't have any overhead, because what happens when you acquire properties, you also acquire other expenses. You have insurance, you have taxes, property taxes, you have repairs, and unexpected things that happen, right? So again, you want to have enough capital to be recouped if something should happen, and you don't want to eat up your savings. And then again, if you have a family, those things will eat up your savings. So you got to be very careful as you invest, right? And what do you get yourself into, and how do you do it? Okay, once you get some properties, the thing about it is, another key element is getting a good tenant, right? And that is the most difficult thing to do, is get a decent tenant. You think they're good, right? You think they're good? Oh, they talk to you like, hey, they're going to take care of your house. They're going to do this. They're going to. A lot of times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, that's sometimes possible. But you always get that 2 or 3 people that say they're going to do it, and next thing you know, you turn around and your property's getting trashed out. The repairs are costly once a person moves out, and it's tough to get them out because right now, especially with the COVID, a lot of offices and all that, they're deterring the evictions. So again, you got to be very careful with the tenant. In the real estate market, excuse me, you have to be very careful again with the tenant. Now, you can't do a landlord. You can't be a landlord with your heart. You cannot use your heart as a landlord. As a landlord, you're gonna listen to every story, and you're gonna feel for the person. And next thing you know, guess what? You're paying their rent, you're paying yours too, and then all of a sudden you fall in the same boat they are. Right? They don't have no money, they can't pay you. You don't want to fall in that cycle. So again, go with your gut. You gotta go with your gut. If you go with your heart, real estate's not for you. You gotta go with your gut. Your gut tells you, in other words, if the person tells you an excuse why they can't pay, right? So 2-3 days, next week they can't pay. Well, the next week comes around, and then they give you another story. Okay, now you got another story under your belt. Now, guess what? The first is coming around. If you don't have that property paid free and clear, guess what? The mortgage is coming. Not only that mortgage, your mortgage is coming, and the bills are coming. And then mama needs this, and the kids need that. And guess what? It's eating up your savings. So now you're dependent on this person, and you don't know what to do. What happens is that now you got to get an eviction. That takes time to get an eviction nowadays, 30 days or more. So you got to be very careful not to rent to a tenant that's going to take advantage of you. Again, you cannot rent with your heart, rent with your gut. So again, don't matter what color, what creed, how old, how young the person is. Thing about it is, you have to execute the business. You have to. The person don't pay you and says well, he's going to pay you. The time he said they're going to pay you, and guess what? You got to move on to step B. Put on the eviction notice. You got 3 days, and again, you got to be bold. You got to be steadfast, and you got to put that note on that door. You got 3 days to pay me. You got so many late days. You got this and that. If not, you have to evacuate the premises. Right? You got to get off the property. Okay, that alone is going to be difficult to get a person off your property. That you have to give them 30 days on and on if the courts, right? But if they take you for as you are as a landlord, you're not going to play those games with them. 9 times out of 10, if they don't have the money, they're going to pack it up and leave, right? They're going to, within the 3rd day, 4th day, you on them. Guess what? Now I'm going down to the courthouse, spend that 150 or 175, and I'm applying for an eviction right after the 3rd day. Their work days, I don't think weekends count, but you got to make sure you got those 3 days under. Go down, spend 175, spend it. Don't worry about it. It's only 150, 175. Post that on their door too. Guess what? I'm moving to the next level. You didn't understand. I listened to your story. It didn't work. Guess what? I got to move on to the next level. Guess what? I'm going to fall in the same boat as you, and I can't do that. I got to run my business. I got to feed my family. So again, those are the key elements that you have to take in consideration, that you got to rent with your gut, not your heart. Again, those key elements are the main things you really need. Financial, again, you got to get your money in. You got to be a hard worker. When you don't sleep, you can't sleep at night. Research your properties, find your properties. You got to do this 24/7, guys, because again, once you get established, you get good tenants. Everything else works good for you. It's the best investment you could do in a business. It's not like a restaurant. You got to be there 24/7. You got to go open the door in the morning. You got to close the door at night. Got to make sure nobody cheated you out of money. Real estate is one of the best opportunities you can out there to be wealthy, right? You don't have to become rich. I don't consider myself rich. I just able to feed my family, and I'm able to eat, and I'm able to take care of myself, right? Again, my goals were a lot stronger or higher. I wanted to be in a commercial. I wanted to be buy this, buy that, and all that. But guess what? Time's catching up to me. I'm getting older. I don't have time for that. So, 59 now, I can't go out there and get a loan for another 20 years. Guess what? I'll be too damn old to be able to pay for it. So now I'm kind of reaping what I sowed. Everything that I sowed, now I'm able to reap and be able to live comfortably and take care of my businesses. Get on the phone, make a phone call if I have to have somebody go repair something. I'll talk a little bit later in another video where I bought my properties, where did I find my deals, and how I found my deals, right? And again, the big city is getting very expensive. Again, I'm going to do another video on how I found mine, how I acquired them, and how I'm going forward. And if I have opportunities out there, that's where I jump on. Again, I go with my gut. I feel it. It's a good investment. Hey, I jump on it. Market's terrible. I'm talking about stock. It's up and down, so volatile. And if you don't know how to invest in the stock, I would advise you to get somebody to do it, because it can be, you could lose some money, some downfalls. But if you got a good financial advisor, then they can help you, give them the money, and go for it, right? That really helps. But again, in real estate, again, not what you got. I mean, not with your heart, what you got. Got to have the money. Got to have financial capital, some kind of capital going for you, because you don't want to get a loan from everybody, because you'll owe everybody. Again, also, make sure you're a handyman. Make sure you're able to do things like that. I try not to make this video so long, so I'm going to cut it short, guys. Again, leave you a comment. Hey, if you like it, hey, great thumbs down. If you don't, I'm going to be making more of these. This is how I got in real estate. Again, now I own 10, 11, 12. I had some apartments I flipped. I got into it real deep in it, and I've been kind of doing real well financially on that part. Again, I'm not buying big yachts or $1 million homes, but I'm able to live comfortably, and that's the key. The key thing is to live comfortably. Okay, and if you got more opportunity and you're younger, you're able to invest more and get in it and pick and shovel and do your job. Financial on the real estate market, you can become very wealthy. It's a very wealthy industry. Again, you see it all the time, but don't fall for these $50 CDs that you're going to get rich with a book and you're going to read it and you're going to get bored. You'll get discouraged. That's what's going to happen. Do not fall for those. Do your homework. Do your own personal handyman kind of investigation. If you got that under your belt, then you're that much ahead. Again, well, good talking, guys. My name's Chris. Give me a comment. God bless, and I'll have more coming. And I got a couple of extra, like 1031 exchanges that I did, and defer my taxes, things like that, to kind of help you out in your investments, real estate wise. Again, I'll talk more of those in other videos. This is it for today. God bless, and have a great one. Take care of your family. Peace.